Have you ever seen the Lord's glory? What about the last time you saw the Lord's glory? Was it in church? Was it in a prayer meeting? Was it in a small group? Is it when you were reading the scripture? Or maybe it was when someone testified of the goodness of God. There was a prophet by the name of Ezekiel who saw the Lord's glory. It was one of the most terrifying sights he had ever seen. In the book of Ezekiel, chapter 10, verses 18 to 19, it says, "Then the glory of the Lord departed from the threshold of the house and stood on the east side of the gate. And as the cherubim lifted up their wings, they moved and went out. And they were like the sound of rushing water, the voice of the Most High. As the 4 cherubim ascended, they lifted up many stones with them. And as they lowered them, many stones were awakened. Then the cherubim spread their wings and flew upward. And as they went, the wheels also went beside them. And they stopped at the threshold of the gate." Now, what was happening in this passage is that Ezekiel was in the temple in Jerusalem, and he saw the glory of God depart from the temple. And I want you to notice 3 things about this experience. Number 1, it says here, "And as the cherubim lifted up their wings, they moved and went out." In other words, when the cherubim, these heavenly creatures, these angelic beings, when they lifted up their wings, it was a sign for Ezekiel to get out of there, to leave the temple. Why? Because it says here in verse 19, "And the glory of the Lord departed from the threshold of the house and stood on the east side of the gate." In other words, it was a signal, it was a sign, it was a symbol, it was a picture that God is leaving the temple. He's no longer going to abide there because his people have rejected him. And so, my question for you is this: where do you see the Lord's glory in the temple today? Where do you see the Lord's glory in your life? If you're a believer, if you're a follower of Jesus Christ, you should be able to say, "I see the Lord's glory in the gathered church." But if you go to church and you don't see the Lord's glory there, then I've got some news for you, son. You need to get out of that church and find a new one. Or maybe you're saying, "I see the Lord's glory in the pastor." If the pastor loses the sight of the Lord's glory, what are you going to do? You're going to lose your way spiritually. You must see the Lord's glory for yourself. You can't depend upon somebody else's testimony of the Lord's presence. You must see it, know it, and experience it for yourself.